The restaurant was buzzing that Friday night. Silver trays clinked against glasses, laughter filled the air, and the scent of roasted garlic bread lingered in every corner. But for Clara, a 22-year-old waitress working double shifts, none of it mattered. Her mind wasn't on the tips she might earn or the exhaustion in her aching legs, it was on her mother lying in a hospital bed, her chest rising and falling with fragile breaths. She carried the weight of her world in silence, tray balanced in her hand, when the doors swung open and Victor Harrington, the billionaire CEO, entered with his entourage. His presence was magnetic, expensive suit, polished shoes, and that arrogant air that told everyone in the room he was untouchable. Cameras followed him. Whispers rose. Everyone knew him. Everyone wanted to be him. Everyone, except Clara. Victor spotted her almost instantly when she placed champagne glasses before him. Unlike the other waitresses who gushed and flirted for attention, Clara met his sharp blue eyes with calm indifference. Not impressed. Victor smirked, leaning back in his chair. You know who I am. Clara nodded, unimpressed. Yes. A man with too much money and too little humility. The table erupted in gasps and laughter. Victor chuckled, clearly entertained. Nobody dared speak to him like that. Nobody except this young woman who looked too thin, too tired, yet unshakably strong. Feisty, he grinned. Tell you what, let's make things interesting. He pulled out his sleek pen, tapping it against his glass. If you can beat me in a challenge of my choice, I'll give you $100 million. The entire table leaned forward. A hush fell over the restaurant. Clara blinked, stunned. 100 million, she repeated softly. Yes. He smirked. $100 million. Win, and your life changes. Lose, and you just serve me my dessert. The room waited for her answer. Clara thought of her mother, of unpaid medical bills, of years of sacrifice. Then she looked Victor in the eye and said firmly. Deal. Victor clapped, amused. Good. Tomorrow. My office. 10 a.m. Don't be late. That night, Clara could barely sleep. Fear gnawed at her. What challenge could he possibly set? A game of chess. A business pitch. Something physical. The odds were stacked against her. She was nobody. He was a billionaire with power, resources, and arrogance. Her mother's voice echoed in her heart, courage doesn't mean you're not afraid. It means you keep moving forward despite the fear. So she went. The next morning, Clara stepped into Victor's towering glass skyscraper. She felt small, her thrift store dress contrasting against marble floors and golden elevators. The receptionist looked her up and down, nearly laughing. But Clara stood tall. Victor greeted her with a mocking smile. Ah, the brave waitress. He gestured toward a grand conference room where screens lit up, showing news channels, financial charts, and maps. The challenge, Victor announced dramatically, is simple. Convince this room of investors that you have a better business idea than me. If the majority vote for you, you win. Clara froze. Investors. A pitch. She had no degree, no corporate experience. She barely survived day to day. Victor leaned closer. Too late to back out. Her stomach twisted. But then she remembered her mother's weak smile, whispering from the hospital bed, never let anyone decide your worth, Clara. So she straightened her shoulders. Let's begin. For 30 minutes, Victor dazzled the investors with statistics, slides, and booming confidence. His proposal was flawless, predicting billions in profit. Applause filled the room. He was certain she could never top him. Then Clara stood. No slides. No fancy graphs. Just her voice. I don't have the knowledge Mr. Harrington does, she began softly, but I know something he doesn't. I know what it's like to be invisible in this world. I know what it's like to watch your mother work until her hands bleed, only to choose between rent and food. And I know what it's like to be dismissed by people who think money defines intelligence. The room grew silent. My idea is simple, Clara continued. A platform that connects small-town artisans, tailors, bakers, craftspeople, to global customers. People like my mother, who sewed dresses for pennies, would finally earn what they deserve. Fair trade. Fair pay. Technology with heart. Her words pierced deeper than charts ever could. Investors leaned in, eyes glistening. She spoke from raw truth, not polished rehearsals. When the vote came, hands rose one by one. And to Victor's disbelief, the majority chose Clara. Victor's smirk faded. He had underestimated her. The room applauded, not for him, but for the waitress who dared to dream. You actually won, he muttered, stunned. Clara met his gaze, steady and calm. You said 100 million. He laughed bitterly. You think I'll just hand it over? The investors, however, had witnessed his promise. Cameras had caught every word. Within hours, the media exploded. Waitress beats billionaire CEO in business challenge. Victor couldn't escape. His empire's reputation was at stake. He was forced to keep his word. Clara walked out of that skyscraper with a future she never imagined, funding, investors, and the world watching. But the greatest victory wasn't the money. It was the look on her mother's face when Clara told her, "We don't have to struggle anymore. You can rest now." Tears streamed down her mother's cheeks as she whispered, "I always knew you were destined for more." Victor, meanwhile, was left humbled. For the first time, his arrogance had cost him dearly. He would never forget the waitress who defeated him, not with wealth, but with courage and truth. Clara built her company from scratch, not for greed but for people like her mother, for forgotten talents and overlooked souls. The platform grew into a worldwide movement, lifting thousands out of poverty. And whenever reporters asked what fueled her, Clara smiled and said, "I didn't do it for money. I did it for dignity." Final message for your video. And that, dear friends, is Clara's story, a story that proves courage, truth, and heart can outshine arrogance, no matter the odds. What do you think? Would you have accepted Victor's challenge? Comment below and share your thoughts. I love reading your perspectives. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And remember, on this channel, be kind always.